I went to the hospital. So after this video, it was probably, I want to say 4 to 5 hours later, I was on my way to the ER where I had horrible health scare, where I had emergency surgery, and where a week later I found out I have cancer. So it's kind of eerie to think that this is the last time I was on camera prior to all of that happening. In this video, I do talk about some personal stuff from my past, so I do hope that you guys enjoy. Hey guys, so welcome to a new video. We're gonna do an eat with me. I have hibachi steak. It is New York strip steak. So, you guys, okay, so a little back story, not really a backstory, but I'm actually gonna take this off because it's always all up in my face when I'm trying to eat. This, I actually always ask for. I do this a little differently. For extra vegetables, because it usually doesn't come with broccoli and stuff like that, but mine does. I say no teriyaki sauce. I just prefer it kind of, it's kind of plain, not plain if you will, but it's a little plain. But I like it like that, like a lot. It's really good. I'm trying to set you guys up. Okay. And this is yum yum sauce. I don't know how they make it. I almost don't want to know. Usually people pour it on, but I dip mine. So that is what I will be doing. Let's get into it. Okay. Girl. I'm starting in already with the moans and the groans that you guys don't like. I'm sorry. I swear I don't do it in person. So, we have steak. Don't hate on me. I get mine well done. That's good. We have, this is zucchini. We have mushroom, broccoli, we have onion. I like the hibachi sauce. I don't like the teriyaki sauce. Oh, I can't talk. I just don't like the teriyaki sauce. It's, I don't know. I just don't want my food to be like sweet like that. Not like that, if that makes sense. And we have carrots. This is honestly so good. Delish. So it's another stormy day in Kentucky. Whether that's figuratively or metaphorically or real, it stands for all of it. At this point, when it rains, it pours, you know? Oh, some of the things just going on in this world and, you know, our lives and everyone's lives. It's painful. It's scary. It's just a lot at once. Veggies. There's so much that I want to talk about, that I want to say, that, but it's just like not in my hands, you know? And it wouldn't be appropriate if I was to talk about certain things. I try so hard to drink as much liquid as I can when I'm eating. Mainly because I get thirsty. This is weird, y'all, but listen. I am so thirsty when I eat, but if I'm not eating, I don't really drink anything. You guys, it's bad. I don't drink a lot of liquid in a day, and I have talked about this countless times. I'm just like never thirsty. That's one of the biggest symptoms for someone who's diabetic, to be always thirsty. Everyone always thinks I have diabetes because a few reasons. My knuckles and my weight. And the way that I eat. Well, take away all of that, and I'm surprised that I don't have diabetes because it runs in the family really bad. I don't think I have ever seen someone have such bad diabetes than my dad. Growing up, he was in a diabetic coma at one point. I've always seen him take shots of insulin in his stomach. I saw at a young age, he has this really bad ulcer on the bottom of his foot, and he still has it. And it's only gotten worse. He has been continuously hospitalized. They want to amputate his foot, and they've wanted to amputate his foot for over a decade, and way over a decade. And he just won't get it done. So, excuse me, sorry I burped. I have never seen someone with so many health issues regarding diabetes. And I know that needs to like put more fear into me, like seeing what my dad's gone through / is going through with it, because it's bad. And I get that, and I'm not even a pre-diabetic, which still to this day shocks me. I am beyond grateful, but I'm scared that one day I'm going to be diagnosed with diabetes, and that is scary. But what I think is beautiful about the body is that we, as human beings, can help prevent certain things from happening to you. Sorry. I know there's a lot of things that you can't prevent, which that's heartbreaking all in itself, but there is a large quantity of things that, like, if you change the way you eat, it could drastically fix something. I know a lot of people who do have diabetes and they've changed the way they ate and it completely went away. Also, weight loss helps a lot, because I can tell you guys firsthand that I've never had like super high blood pressure. It's always been like right at that teetering point where some doctors think I shouldn't take medicine, some doctors don't think I should. But ever since I've lost 75 pounds, I don't have high blood pressure, like, at all. It's not even at that teetering point. It's usually always normal for the most part. And it's just like, you know, weight loss helps with a lot of things, and changing the way you eat. I'm saying that as I have tons of rice in front of me. You know, this part isn't that bad for you, but I try not to have steak a lot. I'm more of a lean meat type of gal, but you know, a lot of people like to, you know, make fun of me and say she has the beatus, and just, it's really just like cruel, because you don't know what I've seen with my father and the things that he gone through and still goes through, like literally to this day. The last time I actually talked to him, he was in the hospital because of his diabetes. It's not something you joke about. And not only does my dad have it, but both of my grandmas. I don't know a lot of my family, but I do know all three of them had it. Here's a little factoid, actually, which is really, I wish I would have known this, okay? Story time. The closest person I have ever had in my family is my grandma Judy. She passed away when I was 12, 13, and it was earth-shattering. I have never been put in a position where I honestly felt like I could not live anymore. She was like my mom when my mom couldn't be my mom, or didn't want to be my mom, or wasn't my mom. My grandma was that for me. She was my actual heart and soul. She treated me as if I was her own, and we just had like this bond that I can't describe. She was very sick for months, and she was hospitalized in San Francisco for months. We lived about 35, 40 minutes away from San Francisco. And this was during the time when I always have to explain this because people get kind of confused, which I understand. This was during a trial with my parents to see if they were fit to be parents again, because I was in foster care. This whole thing. This whole aspect was happening during that trial. My grandma was in the hospital for months, and we would go visit her up most 5-6 times a week. And every time I saw her, it was getting worse. And I knew it was something with her liver, but as a 12-year-old, they didn't want to tell me much. My parents didn't want to tell me much. So that's all I knew, was that it was something with her liver. And I remember the last day that she was at the hospital, the doctors told us in the room with my grandma, you know, you have about a year to live. And hearing that was like hard to hear, but I was also so happy that she was still gonna have that year. Then the doctor, about an hour later, pulled my dad into the hallway. My grandma was sleeping, and I went out there with my dad, and he said, she actually has about a week. My whole everything, it's so hard to explain. I felt like I blacked out. Obviously I didn't, but I felt like I did. And I just started bawling right in the hallway. And so they sent my grandma home that day, and she got to be on hospice. Why am I sharing this story? I don't know, but I'm gonna keep talking about it. She has been on my mind so much lately. So she got put on hospice, and my mom actually would take care of her while hospice wasn't there, visiting her or whatever. My grandma had a hospital bed in the living room, and oh God, I think it was day, the thing that she said to me was I sounded like a chipmunk. Because my bedroom was right next to the living room. We lived in a trailer, so you could hear everything. It was a very small, dingy trailer. And she was in the living room laying down on her bed, and I was eating sunflower seeds in my bed. And she said, "You sound like a chipmunk." And it was cute and it was funny. And I fell asleep a little bit after that, and the next day I woke up and she was in a coma. My parents told me that hospice induced a coma, so she wouldn't be in pain anymore. And every time that my grandma would breathe, you could hear rattling in her lungs. And I think it was 2 nights after she was in a coma. I'm like shaking. I remember telling her it's okay. It was so hard. Like, my parents would always say, just like those 2 days felt like millions of years, you know? But my parents would keep saying, you know, talk to her. She can hear you. And it's just like, I didn't know if I believed it, you know? But everyone was sleeping and I was out there and I just told her it's okay. And the next day I woke up and she wasn't there anymore. Like, her body was, but she wasn't. It was. It was the hardest thing I ever went through. And I ended up missing a couple weeks of school after that because it was so painful. It was so painful. So, okay, first of all, her funeral, okay? It was beautiful. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the movie, I think it's called Beaches or something. There's a song in it called Rose, and my grandma would always say, this is the song I want at my funeral, and I would always tell her, you're not gonna die, so you can't really have a song at your funeral. We played it for her, and it feels so good to talk about this for some reason. And I actually wrote a poem for her funeral, and my mom read it out loud because I couldn't do it. I was an actual disgusting mess. Like, you guys have no idea. And the minute my mom started reading it, I lost it. I literally lost it. And it was, I don't know. I wish I still had the poem. My parents hung it on the wall in our home, and our home is no longer our home. It was raided by cops, and that's a whole other story for a whole other time. But so as I got a little bit older, I found out that my grandma was actually a lesbian, and I did not know that growing up because my dad was very against gays. Like, he was a homophobic person, and long story short, he is not that no more. I just want to make that clear. He is not that person. Very accepting of me and everyone else and who they choose to be or who they don't choose to be. But I never knew that about her, and I think I found out 16, 17, and I was completely shocked. But as I think about it now, like, it all makes sense. You know, she didn't look like a typical grandma, you know. And I remember her best friend, her name was Carol, and she actually lived a little bit far away, so she would come and visit my grandma. Turns out they weren't best friends, they were kind of together. And it's just like, I wish more than anything my grandma was here so I could talk to her and be like, Grandma, I'm a lesbian too. You know, it's just like, we bonded so much. And now it's like we still have that bond even as she's not here, you know? I think about her so much, and I'm 29 and she's been gone for so long. And there's so many things that remind me of her. So it's like she's always there in my mind, but I think I remember why actually I'm talking about this. My grandma, she actually used to weigh 600 pounds, and that was something else that I didn't know, because she was not 600 pounds when I knew her. She was, I think, like 200, and my whole life she was around that weight, about 200, and I found out, I think 18, that she used to weigh 600 pounds, but she had weight loss surgery before I was even born. And I was just like, what? First of all, I didn't even know weight loss surgery was a thing at that age. I mean, at that time. And I think that's another reason why my mom, in the past, she would talk to me a lot about weight loss surgery, saying, you know, it works for your grandma, it could work for you, you know. So yeah, I think that's why I brought that up, because it's just like these little things that I found out about my grandma that I never even knew. And it's because for some reason my parents wanted to hide that stuff from me, but yet the stuff they chose to share with me was just not good. If you guys know stuff about my past, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And I actually recently, a month or two ago, I was talking to my aunt about my grandma, and then she ended up talking to my mom about my grandma as well. And I finally found out truly her cause of death. And this whole time I thought it was her liver, and it was like a liver damage thing. It turns out that it was actually hepatitis C, and I had no idea that she had hepatitis C. I honestly, I don't know if she knew. I think maybe she just found out. I don't know, honestly. But that was a complete shock to me. It really, really was. And I don't know. Losing her was the worst thing in the world. And I was actually just talking to Becky about it. My grandma was cremated, and we were poor, so she didn't get this like